Hello there and welcome to Coding Studio. This is B and I'm continuing the JavaScript tutorial. This is going to be the fourth episode and I'm going to be talking about arrays. Last episode I talked about functions and now it's going to be arrays. I might have switched up the order which it should have gone, but it's fine. It's also a pretty important thing. In JavaScript, you're going to be using arrays a lot. They are basically lists of elements, which can be numbers, objects. You're going to meet a lot of objects later on if you're going to be working as a JavaScript developer. So let's jump into it. I'm going to open a terminal and go to the desktop. Coding, YouTube, and JavaScript, and I'm gonna open Visual Studio Code, and this is gonna be the file that's gonna be up my repository. It's already up. All of these are already up in the repo, even if the video is not out yet. So an array is basically a list of items. You can see some here, but it's gonna be a short video now because it's not a very big topic, but I think it's pretty interesting. Array.js. Okay, so let's open a terminal too, and let's roll with it. Okay, so let's declare an array. To declare an empty array, you can just do this. No, actually, let my array equals to this, square brackets. That's an array. This is empty. As you can see, there's nothing in there. If I were to log it out, my array, it's going to be empty. Let's run the file. It's array.js. As you can see, it logged out an empty array. So it's pretty simple so far, isn't it? I can create an array with elements in there already. I'm not going to create a new one. I'm just going to put some values in here. Let's say b, hornet, wasp, and so on. And if I log it out again, the elements are inside. This is good because you can store a lot of different values in one variable and you can access them pretty easily. Now all of these elements have indexes, but before that you can store multiple kinds of data in here, even undefined or an empty object or an object with anything else. The next video is, I think, gonna be about objects, so that's gonna be nice. And I can store boolean values in there too. If I log it out, everything should be in there, as you can see. Okay, so each and every element here has an index, which is basically the order they are in, so they are numbers. Here, in this case, b is on the 0th index, this is on the first index, second. So in an array, the indexes start from 0. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I can access them. So when I call my array, I put square brackets there, and if I want to find the first element, I put 0 in the square bracket. And as you can see, it logs out b. Pretty simple. If I want the third element, which is wasp, I can access that fairly easily. Now an array has certain properties such as length. It tells you the number of elements in the array. This should be, I don't know, undefined undefined, which is len. I missed the G. That's why I don't like JavaScript, because it doesn't tell you that you had a typo there. TypeScript tells you. So as you can see, there are 8 elements in there. 3, 6, 8. That's correct. And this is actually one of the easiest ways to get the last element of an array. If you don't know how many elements are in there, you just say in the square brackets that myArray.length, which should return how many elements are in there. And this equates to 8. Now there's one problem with that. That 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The last element is on the 7th index. So logically we just have to subtract 1, and it gives us the last element, which should be true. And it is true. And just to show you, this is the last element. If I run it again, it should give us this is the last element, so it didn't just evaluate the true, that this is the last element. So that's how you access the last one. It's pretty easy stuff. That's how you actually create an array. Now in JavaScript there is the array object, and we can actually do something like let my array equal new array, and now I have created a new array. And if we log out my array now, my array, it will tell us that this is an empty array. Now this is not a good practice. You should never create an array like this, but you can actually, if you put 10, what it does, it creates 10 elements in your array, and all of them are undefined. 10 empty items. Okay, so empty items, not undefined, but if I were to try to find the 7th element in there, or the 8th, as you can see, they are undefined. So this is not a good way to create an array. And if I were to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, then my array should have 6 predetermined elements in there, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I can predetermine the elements in my array, but it's still better to create it like that if I want 6 elements already in my array. Okay, so it's a bad practice to use new array in these cases. Now let's say the 4th element should be, I don't know, this is the 4th element. Okay, if I want to access a specific element, as I just showed you before, I just get the 4th element, and this is the 4th element. Now if I want to change that, it's very easy. My array 4th element equals, this is the new 4th element. And if I log the 4th element out now, it did change it. So it's very easy to change a certain value in there. Now if you have 2 arrays, okay, no, actually let's talk about a few other array methods. If I want to add a new element to the end of my array, I just say my array dot push, my new element in the array. You don't have to call it my array though. It can be anything since it's a variable name. And I have to console log the array. And if I do it now, as you can see, it did add a new element at the end of the array. If I were to wanna actually put put the new element in the beginning of the array, so as the first element, I just use on shift. That what puts it to the first place. As you can see, it did put it to the first place. So it's pretty easy. This is a good practice, but what I prefer to do is actually just change the value like this. My array equals this, and if I want to put a new element in the beginning, I just say new item, let's say, and then I spread. Oh my god. And then oh my god. Why do you do that? Okay, I don't know what happened there. And I actually just spread. The 3 dots is the spread operator, my array. Now what it does is gets all the elements in here and puts it inside where I spread it. So this is the spread operator, these 3 dots, and I'm creating a new array with a new item at the beginning. And as you can see, it did do that. Same goes for if I want to put it as the last element, spread my array, new item. And it's gonna be at the end now, as you can see. So this is the way I prefer to do it, but feel free to use push or on shift later on. This is also very good to merge two arrays. Let my second array equal as so it works like that. A, B, C. And I can do something like this. And it's doing it again. My second array, I save it. And as you can see, it did put them in an order. Now it became too long, that's why my terminal split them up like this. 1, 2, 3, my new item, A, B, C. So my new item is between them. Now you can use methods on arrays too, like map, filter, sort, and so on. That is going to be in a separate video because that's a very big topic. You're going to use that. I'm going to touch upon them in the loops video, which is here. That's another pretty biggie. So I'm not going to talk about array methods now. That deserves its own video. So I think we are pretty much done with arrays. You can store anything in them. You can spread them. You can create new one. Oh, and actually, if you have an existing array and you want to make it empty, so that you want to go back to the beginning where there's nothing in your array, there are 2 good methods for that. One is myArray equals empty array. That's the easiest one. Another one is the myArray.length equals 0. That was good. Both of them empties your array. Just so you can see it. I log out my array here, and it should be empty. As you can see, it is. So that's all I wanted to tell you about arrays. There are detailed explanations in my arrays.js, which is up in my GitHub repo. The link is going to be in the video description for it. It tells you which one is not a good practice, which is. As you can see, I do tell you that everything we went through here is in here, maybe less, maybe more. So feel free to fork the repo and check it if you forget something. If you like the video, please leave a like or subscribe. If you didn't, or just generally don't agree with me, feel free to dislike or comment. Okay, no, please don't dislike. Comment is fine though. More so, I encourage you to comment. I know my logic isn't certainly flawless. So if you disagree, let me know. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.